All right. This is Rocking with Jam Man. It's with Rob from Compulsions. So how you doing, man?
Everything's all right. I mean, everything's insane, but I'm hanging in, as I'm sure we all are.
Yeah, everybody's it's just like it's like a tiny rope's hanging us, you could say. It's like a
Yeah,
tiny
hanging
rope.
on by a thread.
Yeah, we're really hanging by that thread. Really good. Um, you look like nothing like you do in the movies. I love train spotting, and 28 weeks later.
Well, I hope you're joking because I'm not that guy.
Wait, so you're not the movie star?
No.
Well, hold on. All my questions were about you.
Oh, okay. Well, then we might have to start this over at another time then.
Um, yeah. Sorry, I'm just messing with you, man.
Oh, okay.
This
Wow, you really got me. Nice, nice.
I'm
I'm
super.
gonna have to get you back for that one.
Oh, try me. I dare you. Try me, dude. Try me. Congratulations on your new album, Ferocious.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah.
So let's start out the beginning. About the beginning. So originally, this was a super group with two members from Guns N' Roses and a New York Doll. So, so you guys did two albums, got great reviews. Then what happened?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I mean, they play in much bigger bands than mine, so obviously their priorities in their mind should be those acts. I feel differently, um, and so eventually it just wasn't working out, and it just drifted apart. They went off into doing whatever they're doing, and it was left up to me to keep going or not, and so I decided to keep going.
What went through your mind when they said they didn't want to be part of the third album?
Well, they didn't. No one said that was never said. It was just. It's just. How relationships, whether it's a business relationship or a personal relationship or whatever, how just things just drift apart. So there was never. It was never said expressly, but it was said, by actions rather than by words. You know what I mean? Or lack of actions, I guess you could say.
So you formed another super group with Bumblefoot, Ear Slick from David Bowie Alec Mountain, sorry, from Monsters Magnet, and another New York, Brian Delaney.
Right.
Yeah, Delaney.
Yeah, that's the most of the songs on the album feature a mixture of those characters. Yeah. Well, actually, all the songs feature those guys. Yeah.
How did everyone get together?
I reached out and put it together. I just you have names and numbers from different various contacts that you might have, and you just kind of put a crew together. You know what I mean? And it was over the course of months, if not, it took a few years to make the whole record. So piece by piece, little by little, sitting around thinking about it, playing rough versions of the songs as it's coming together and trying to figure out like what you're going to do with it. But to answer your question, how did it come together? I put it together.
I have to ask, with the whole new lineup, why did they stick with the name Compulsions?
Well, I make that decision because it's my band. So I could call it whatever I want. They're brought in, they're brought in to do their part. So I kept the name because I've done a lot of good work. At least some people seem to think so. I've done some good work as the Compulsions before with various lineups, even before the lineup that we had just talked about. I've had like so many different people in and out of the band, and yeah, in a way, I get what you're saying. I never should have called the band the Compulsions from the beginning, considering that there's been so many people in and out of it. I should have gone by either my own name or a name that doesn't, suggest that there's, individuals, like if it was a name like Motorhead, that's not like the Blanks, you know what I mean? But I didn't know that I didn't know at the beginning that what was going to happen, and so that's just sort of what it became. So that's my answer for that.
When you're a group of talented people who all have been in bands and have their own sound, it has to be amazing when you all get together.
It is amazing. And it's a lot of fun. And it's when you work with consummate professionals like that, and everybody gets in the room together, it's just everything comes out better than you thought it was gonna. And so that's the big thrill of this whole thing is you have an idea in your head of how maybe it's gonna come out, and then as it starts to come together, watching it come together, and hearing what it sounds like, and for it to be even better than your wildest imagination. Yeah, that is a big thrill.
Is that why this album has so many sounds and styles?
Um, that's probably part of the reason, but then also I wrote the songs with that in mind too. Like I kind of know, even obviously, well, not obviously if you don't know, songs are written typically on a guitar, probably an acoustic guitar or a piano. But I write everything on an acoustic guitar. No matter what it ends up being, it starts out on an acoustic guitar most of the time. And so I sort of know at that point, okay, this is going to be a bluesy type song, or this is going to be a more like metallic type of song, or this is going to be a song that I'll know what the feel of the genre of it is ahead of time. And then as I start recruiting people to get to perform on the track, then they start adding their parts, and that's when it becomes the surprises of like what they bring to the table. But I sort of know ahead of time, like you sort of know, oh, this is going to be a punk rock song, or this is going to be a southern rock song, or whatever. So that part, I'm still responsible for that aspect of it, and then they come in and bring it to life.
Now let's take a moment to talk about my friend Bumblefoot. Give us a moment. You can tell me he's not one of the nice. You can tell me he's not one of the nicest.
Oh yeah, I mean he's awesome. Yeah, yeah, I know he's been on your show, and yeah, he's just everybody loves Bumblefoot. What's not to love?
Yeah, you're right. And he is so talented. He's actually one of the more world's famous guitars guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and when he plays, like it's him. He's like, there's very few guys out there that like, when they pick up the guitar and they touch it and they do their thing, you could tell instantly that that's who it is, and he's in that class.
Yeah, it's like this. Like somebody can just recline this, like, dun, 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 just starting with another song, and then but like nobody would know it. But then like when Bumblefoot plays, it's like we all know who that is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ah,
Yeah.
or unless everybody's freaks. Who doesn't know Bumblefoot? I'm just playing with you, man. Um, so what is it like for recording during the pandemic?
This record was made before the pandemic. It was put out after the pandemic, but I have done a little bit of recording during the pandemic, and it's weird, and this was early on, so maybe things are smoothed out now with studios, but this was back in probably May or June, and it was real something. We were just fixing something really, so I can't even say that we were like recording. We were just doing like a little tweak or something. So I don't, I'm not really, I haven't been in recording mode since the pandemic started. But for me, most of my musical activity lately has been lots of playing guitar, like just being, just having the time to be at home and just finally like, play more on the instrument than I ever have before. So that's been a lot of fun. And then promoting the new album. That's been my doing stuff like this, and so that's been my musical activity during the pandemic. So I can't really speak to recording, but it's remote, and it's a little weird, but you get used to it and you get over it and you just get on with it because you want to get your record done.
So tell me more about this new album.
What do you want to know?
Like, tell me more about
Let's see. Well, there's a lot more to this album than is already on there. While we were making this album, I was writing a whole bunch of stuff. And so there's at least another 10 songs, maybe another 15 songs with this same cast of characters that I'm going to put out hopefully one day, God willing. So yeah, there's more to it. I just picked these ones because they started to, you just have a whole, it's like you're a chef in the kitchen and you got all your ingredients, and you always put out more ingredients than you need. And so then you eventually start to pick the ones that you really are going to need for that album. And these were the 10 that seemed to just sort of make sense. There was like a common theme in them. It's probably, it's probably all the Compulsion stuff has a degree of like darkness to it, but this is maybe the darkest album so far. I don't know how to measure that. And so yeah, these ones just seem to work together. And also, you're also, you're trying to show off a little bit as an artist. You're trying to like show the world this is what you could do. And so when you have this insane mixture of styles, you're kind of showing people like, look, we're not just a one trick pony. We can continue to surprise you and hopefully amaze you along the way. So I hope that sort of answers your question.
How did you adapt to releasing music without being able to tour to back it up?
Yeah, that's a real hard one. I don't know if I've actually adapted to it. It's not easy to put out records and not have a band to regularly go out and and play and promote and spread the name of the outfit or whatever it is that you're doing. So yeah, that's been really tough. And that's why when right before the pandemic hit, I was making another band. And that was going to hopefully be a band that was more able to play out and be more active. And we have our own material, and that's coming out hopefully soon. So that's what I was doing. I was kind of putting the Compulsions a little bit on pause to build up this other band, and then I was going to put out both albums at the same time and use this new band to sort of promote everything. But then the pandemic hit in late March, and everybody's plans were just uh let's just say changed, you know what I mean, since then. So yeah, so I'm like everybody, I'm just kind of scrambling and trying to figure out like what the next move is and where we headed in the pandemic. And hopefully it seems like we're starting to get a hold of it. um and even after that, I don't know, I don't think anybody has a can predict what's going to happen with live music this year. But I don't think we're going to go back to touring and festivals and stuff like that this summer. It just I would be surprised. Um so yeah, it's not easy when you don't have an outfit to go out and perform with. And so that's why I was making another band. And again, that's on hold now because of the pandemic. So now I have two bands on hold.
Why are there no music videos for this album?
There's been some little teasers that were made. Um, there was one that doesn't use there was one that uses explicit language, so I'm not sure I should be talking about it too much on this show. But there was an early one done, a real quick 45-second video because the song is 45 seconds long. And there's been some like teaser type, 60-second, not full length videos. Um, why? That's a good question, but I am making one right now. So hopefully I'm going to put a stop to that, and we will have a full length video coming out. I just need to see. I have a bunch of film that I'm working on with the music, and I just want to see how long the piece could be. Is this just another 60-second promo, or is this a video? I'm not really sure. I mean, most of it. The reason to answer your question is because I didn't really have the budget to do all the things I want to do. So I try and work backwards from, what do I have and what can I accomplish with that? And so far it's been like, trailers and teasers and stuff like that. There's no record label behind me and there's no management company. It's just me, with whatever's in my pocket. So that's sort of like the limitations that I have to work with on a daily basis.
So when Twerk starts, is it going to be hard to get everyone together because everyone has other things going on?
Yeah, it's probably going to be hard. That's why I started to put together another band just in case this is not going to be able to perform even after the pandemic is over. Although I am always thinking about ways to keep the Compulsions thing happening. So there's other stuff in the works. I can't really get into too much of it right now. But yeah, I would love to see the Compulsions play out and do some more stuff and be more active. Yeah.
Are you anxious to get back? out there or and play shows again? Are you
As long as everything's cool, like I don't really I see other bands and I hear about other bands playing like, doing like live streams and stuff. And I've been asked to do a bunch of stuff like that. I'm constantly saying no to it. So I don't really feel the burning desire to go and play. I don't really want to do a live stream. Like to get the band together and all the effort that would go into just for that, and or to play in a club with like partitions in it, when there's 20 people in a club that should have, 500 or whatever. I get that that's what you should do if you're going to have a show. I just don't really feel it in me to want to do a show like that. So, am I anxious? I would love to do a show like the old days. You know, I I don't know if that's going to be possible anytime soon. You know,
what is your favorite memory from playing a show?
my favorite memory from playing shows. I mean, you know, I guess whenever when you think about, it's always about the audience, and so the more into it the audience is, that's great. And when you have moments where like people are mouthing the lyrics back to you while you're on stage, or when there's a break in the song and like somebody finishes the line and it's your line, that's always a thrill. So it always goes back to the audience, and you're there to entertain and make people hopefully feel good. So when you do achieve that, when you move somebody from feeling every day to feeling, you know, um, the effect of the music that you're laying on them, that is a satisfying moment, as an artist.
Well, what is your worst memory?
Oh, there's a lot of those. I don't know if I should go into those, but there's been some pretty bad, memories. Let me think of one that I could even say. I don't know if there's anything I should say, my friend. So I'm gonna take the fifth on that one. But yeah, there's been some rough stuff. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, yeah, it's yeah. Some teenagers watch this, but this is kind of an adult show, so you can say some pretty bad memories.
No, I know. It's just that I don't need to. I appreciate that. I don't need to. I don't want to relive it, and I also don't. I'm definitely not naming names. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I'd rather not get into that one.
Okay, I'm not trying to be mean at all. Sorry. How did my father start calling you?
Well, there's the Instagram page and there's the YouTube page. And what else do we have going? There's Spotify, which is big. iTunes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, kind of the usual.
What's next for you?
Well, I'm starting to put together another video. Well, maybe the first video, because you said I don't really have a video, which is kind of true. Not a full length. So we'll see what happens with this. I'll see if it can become, the song is over 3 minutes long. So I'll see if there's enough film to keep it interesting for 3 minutes and 20 seconds or whatever it is. It'll be a video. If not, then it'll be a promo of some sort. We'll see how long it is. So I'm working on that. I do have this other band that's kind of like this mystery blues band that I haven't given too many details about yet, but there's that I'm trying to work on. And then I would like to do a Compulsion show if possible this year, even if it is, I think we're gonna get back to at least small clubs playing to, even if it's 50%, or I'm not sure what they're up to right now, but I don't even think they're up to 50%. But if we get like from 50 to whatever, 70, 80% or whatever, that could be worth it to do a show. So I'd like to do that.
Now, why doesn't the band have more social media presence like Facebook or Twitter?
That's a good question. Well, me personally, I hate that stuff. But I do realize that it is somewhat necessary. But I basically do everything. So when you say like, why doesn't the band? It's because I don't personally have time to manage all that social media. I write the songs and I do all that other stuff and do all the, and so that's like enough of a burden. Or not, it's not a burden. That's my job, and I have fun doing it. But the social media is a burden to me. Like I don't enjoy that. I don't like that. I think, it's just not something that's fun for me, and so I'm not very good at it. And so that is an area that that I got to figure out yet. But I do keep up on the Instagram a bit, and we have some YouTube going on. So
It's such a great way to get fans and followers, stuff like that, and apps. So
it's what?
it's a great way. I mean, in Facebook and Twitter is such a great way to get fans and acts, stuff like that. And
Yeah, I mean, it's all a great way, but you sort of have to have everything going on at the same time when you're a band. Like you asked me about touring, and you asked me about social media and all that. Everything all like and doing shows like this and getting press, like you got to have it all happening at the same time. And like I'm just one dude, and like it's impossible for me to have it all happening at the same time. It's just I just can't do it. So the best I could do is what I'm doing now, you know?
well, thank you for being on my show, man. I hope next time we talk is at the backstage at one of your shows.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome, man. Have a
Take
great
care.
Peace.
Thank you.